Grid. Enable CSS Grid layout using Tailwind. Use grid or inline grid to define grid behavior. Examples. Turns the element into a grid container. Makes the grid behave like an inline element. Grid cols. Defines number of grid columns using Tailwind utilities, like grid cols 1 to grid cols 12. Examples. Creates a 3-column equal grid layout. Responsive grid that switches from 1 to 4 columns on medium screens. Grid rows. Defines number of grid rows using Tailwind utilities, like grid rows 1 to grid rows 6. Examples. Creates 3 equal height rows. Splits layout into 2 equal rows. Gap, gaps, gapy. Controls spacing between grid items horizontally, vertically, or both using Tailwind spacing scale. Examples. Adds equal spacing between rows and columns. Separates horizontal and vertical spacing independently. Col-span. Controls how many columns a grid item spans in Tailwind grid layout. Examples. Makes one item span 2 columns. Makes item span full width of the grid. Row span. Controls how many rows a grid item spans in Tailwind. Examples. Item spans 2 rows vertically. Makes item stretch across all rows. Grid flow. Controls auto placement direction of grid items. Includes row, col, and dense variants. Examples. Items fill row by row automatically. Items fill column by column instead of rows. Autocols. Defines automatic column sizing behavior in grid layouts. Examples. Columns size based on content automatically. Columns share equal available space. Auto rows. Controls automatic row sizing behavior in grid layouts. Examples. Rows shrink to fit content height. Rows distribute space evenly. Place items. Shorthand for aligning items both horizontally and vertically inside grid cells. Examples. Centers items in both axes. Aligns items to top left of each cell.